Hello everybody, Virtual Rook here, and we are back from AWE, and what a fantastic show it was. It was just really nice to be surrounded by other like-minded people that are excited about VR, and obviously there's going to be a lot more videos to come, but I think the main video that I wanted to do today was just showcasing some of the VR game developers that I saw at the convention, because, I mean, that's all of us, right? Everybody watching this channel, I assume, is interested in VR in one way or another, and a lot of you are interested in becoming a VR game developer. So let's just talk about them real quick, because, you know, I feel like they don't get a lot of opportunities to be in the limelight, so it's neat to showcase what we got to see, and we got to see some cool games. So let's get right into it. So first, let's take a look at Tower of Titans, a tower defense game that lets you wield magic like you imagined whenever you were a kid, being able to shoot fireballs and lightning out of your hands like Palpatine. Well, I guess that's kind of a spoiler, but I mean, at this point, if you haven't watched all the Star Wars, where are you at? But getting back on topic, it uses the Quest hand tracking in order to allow you to cast spells depending on what hand positions you do. And I'm gonna be honest, I was a really bad reporter for this section of the convention, and I didn't manage to get any of the questions that I asked this developer. In fact, I'm not even sure what their name was, and I'm so sorry for that. But they were very enthusiastic. The game looks awesome, and I just wanted to show you what it looks like, because genuinely, I had a lot of fun playing this game, and I'm looking forward to it. All right now we're testing out the Tower of Titan. But yeah, Tower of Titans was just like a really clever idea and super fun, especially to just hop in and play for a little bit and feel like you have magic. It was really cool. The booth next to them actually had Vivarium, which is a really cool, relaxing game where you get to make different terrariums, and you can add different animals like geckos, lizards, frogs. I also remember them saying that there's rabbits now that you can add, which is just kind of cool. And it's got a fun little arcadey bit where you actually have to help the plants grow inside of your vivarium. And I just kind of liked the aspect of taking care of, you know, plants, because I do not have a green thumb, and so I'm terrible at taking care of plants. So having a nice little VR game where I get to make that was cool. Plus, I got to talk to one of the people from Vivarium, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. Taking a look at Vivarium, very nice, cute geckos, and also getting to build a terrarium, which is awesome.
So in the game right now, you can actually create not just like a vivarium, you can also create aquariums. So we have a lot of different species of animals and plants, some very exotic ones too included. And it's a game where you can actually just like spend a cozy time, relax, and just connect with nature. That's the basic like experience that we want to provide to everyone.
Absolutely.
You can, if you're a fan of geckos, then we have crescent geckos, leopard geckos. We have some frogs too, like, you know, like the spongy or like a rain frog in the game. We have a bunny recently added to the game.
A bunny?
A bunny.
Lovely.
Yes, it's a very cute bunny. And a lot of fish right now, like clownfish. If you watch Nemo, the fish that you see in Nemo, you're probably gonna see in our game, and you can build an aquarium with that.
Yeah. What about birds?
Birds is something that we're thinking for maybe next year update.
Perfect.
The vivarium for birds will require a lot of
It would have to be big.
issues,
That too.
space too. But it's very common actually in the real life. Like vivarium is actually just a help, right? So a lot of people actually have parrots, like small birds in a like a huge vivarium, they call it, like the vivarium for birds is a vivarium. So we want to add that maybe in the next year. Right now we want to focus mostly on like small reptiles and mammals and expand more of the aquarium experience.
Yeah, they were super cool. It was really nice to hang out with them. And then the booth right next to Vivarium, we had VRX's booth, and they were showing off their game Fatherhood Legacy. But to call it a game isn't doing it justice. It's a narrative-driven game with kind of, well, I talked to them as well, so we'll go to my Q&A with them.
Yeah, you want me to just give you a little quick spiel?
Sure.
Okay, so Fatherhood Legacy is going to be the story of a father and son trying to come together. Always hear like generational trauma. I was trying to make an experience that was more like generational bonding.
Oh, good.
So I wanted a father and a son to come out of this experience and ultimately be able to communicate better. So
Lovely.
think about like a 13 through 30 age group.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So there's different conversations and stuff in there, and I just wanted to facilitate conversation amongst family. So let's say you're the son, and after you go through the experience, you're like, man, maybe I should ask my dad about his past. Maybe I should ask, my uncle about my dad. How can I just create a different kind of conversation in our family? Versus
Absolutely.
like all the,
Yeah.
that
Bickering
happens,
back and forth.
where there's not even like a conversation at the dinner table anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
Absolutely.
like reinvigorating understanding a little bit.
What kind of like game would you say it is? Like, is it an RPG where you're choosing your responses to people?
I like to call it an immersive narrative because essentially, have you ever played Battlestar?
Battlestar?
Battlescar. It's
Scar.
like
Oh.
it's like a narrative, had like Rosario Dawson as the narrator. It's solid. Add it to the list.
Battlescar.
Yes,
I don't think you have, but I think you've heard of it.
Okay. I'm sure if I saw a picture of it, I would.
I would say try it. And, that's I was really inspired by that.
Lovely.
And I was like, how can I do something like this and do like something like Mario?
Oh,
so-
interesting.
And that's how
Absolutely.
this really came together. So sometimes you're just sitting there and it's cinematic, and then other times you're controlling the character and you're moving the story forward.
Awesome.
But yeah, I love stuff like this because VR is one of the few mediums where you can do something like this, where it's a game, but you're also learning and you feel present and part of the story, which makes it all the more powerful. And I love seeing stuff like this, so I'm very excited to see more, and I really hope that they keep it up. But let's keep moving along. Across the aisle, we had the booth for Elsewhere Electric, which is a cooperative puzzle game, kind of like an escape room, but one person is inside the VR headset while the other person is on their phone giving them instructions on how to solve the different problems. Kind of like the game Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, where it's that fun aspect of the person inside the headset is in a stressful situation while the person outside the headset is stressed because they're trying to figure out how best to give you information. And there's a full story that happens in the game, and it just seems like such a fun way to interact with somebody else in a cooperative situation. But I asked them a couple of questions, so let's go and take a look at that.
All right. How's it
How's it going?
Good,
So
good.
tell me a little about Elsewhere Electric.
Okay, so Elsewhere Electric is an asymmetric co-op game for mobile and VR.
Ooh.
So it's a puzzle game at its core. Essentially, think of it like an escape room on steroids. People have also talked about it as Severance meets The Witness. So if you like either of those
Both of those,
things,
yes.
probably a game for you. Essentially, you take on the role, two roles in the game. One person is the operator who stays back in the van, and the other person is the installer who goes into the facility and tries to investigate mysterious happenings.
Very exciting.
And you have to work together to solve puzzles, decode symbols. The fun of the game really comes in the communication between the two players.
Definitely.
And basically, there's this symbolic language in the game where if I see something that looks like a jellyfish, some other person might see it as like a muffin.
Yeah.
And it's that sort of
Trying to explain it back to
yeah,
the
trying to
person.
explain it, that subjective interpretation of these different symbols where a lot of the fun comes in. There's also creatures inside the facility.
Oh no.
And you kind of have to discover what's going on with them. If you're the installer going in, you maybe don't want to run into these creatures. And an interesting thing about those creatures as well is that the person on the outside can see them on surveillance cameras and on a map. The player inside cannot. And so you have to talk. Talking is winning in this game. You have to communicate through the symbols, communicate through what one another is seeing, and hopefully you can get through the game. It's
Very nice.
Seriously, the art style is just, mwah, I love this game. It really does look fantastic. Moving right along to day 2 of our convention, we went back to check out some more of the games that were there, and we got to check out Piano Cafe, which was just this really cool way of teaching somebody how to play piano without just giving them music sheets or like press this button now. You actually run a cafe where you're making meals for people, but you're doing it by learning different keys on the keyboard, which is just so cool. And yeah, we talked with them a little bit, so let's go check that out.
Great. Hi, my name is Vinny, the founder of Play, and together we are creator of Piano Cafe. At Play, we let you learn and practice music theory. But through what? Through games. So Piano Cafe is our first launching games that's going to launch in July next month. And this makes you a chef in Piano Cafe. And how you learn is by cooking meals with chords. So we focus on each chorus represent each ingredients, and you will stack it onto the plates and a cup to make a sandwich and a coffee. And what we aim for is you subconsciously learn and memorize chord progressions through games. So no music sheets, no boring piano looking at any dusty piano, you know. It's like games, and you will learn subconsciously. Thank you so much.
I have a question. Yes. Sorry for the camera. When I was younger, I took guitar lessons, and like I learned how to sight read and whatnot. So I know how to read music, and I know how to play guitar. But I always had difficulties, like if someone was like, "Oh, just do like an F chord or something." Right. It's like I don't like I know an F note, but like what constitutes as a chord? And so I'm very curious, like, your take on learning music. Obviously, you said there's no sheet music or anything like that. Do you feel like the people that have tested your game, whether it's the creators or outside testers, do you feel like there has been that improvement of like, oh, people know chords, they may not know the actual like how to read music, but like they could legit play a song and it's not just memory based?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's brilliant questions. For us, how we start this game is by we visit millions, not millions, that's exaggeration, but we live in New York, so we went to like a Berkeley music school and see how they teach music. But the thing is, we met one school that teach their music entirely through games. But at the end of the semester, the students were able to compose their own songs. Their goal wasn't make students good at instrument, but understand music. But when I was young, I learned piano for a couple of years, but I don't really understand how music works because I just memorized music notes and music sheets, and that was it. But the music theory was a key that people should learn to be good at music, to understand music. And that's how we come out with a game that will let people make them understand music well and know what sounds better.
Nice. Okay.
Without like after they took out the headsets, they will know what sounds good. They will like instead of saying C major, they will say like bread, you know.
Apollonian, like, oh, I made a cheeseburger with these sounds.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can make songs with this. It's like, you know, as harmony, you can make songs with harmony, with chords. And I think that would be a pretty interesting idea to have at the end. They were able to make songs with, I don't know, making a whole big sets of meals to other people. Yeah.
Interesting.
Can finally learn how to play music and become extremely hungry at the same time.
Yeah.
Perfect. I would love to learn piano. That's why there's a piano way back there. Maybe one day. Maybe I'll get this game and then I'll actually be able to play that. That would be great. Gosh, I would love that. Anyway, moving right along. The last place that we checked out inside of the game area of the conference was Ilysia by Team 21 Studios. These guys were so awesome. Getting to talk to them was a blast. And honestly, we had too much footage of us talking with them. We talked for a very long time, and they ran me through playing their MMO game, which I love the idea of a VR MMO. I mean, who doesn't? After seeing animes like Sword Art Online, all of us want a good MMO in VR. And honestly, I had a ball playing this game. I want to check it out. It's going to be switching to free-to-play, apparently, in like a couple of months. So, I mean, maybe we'll do a meetup or something in Ilysia. That'd be awesome. But I did get to talk to them. I'm sorry about the audio quality for this one. I know the audio quality's been kind of all over the place for this conference, but hey, first time. But yeah, let's go and check out what we talked about for a little bit.
If I may. Obviously, taking on an MMO is a huge undertaking. Like anytime somebody says like MMO, there's almost like that groan in the game dev community of like, yeah, like, okay, wow. Obviously that comes with a lot of challenges. Are there any methods you guys are using to like try to make sure that your content is staying fresh and quick to keep your community locked in?
We're pretty much always grinding content. We're always making new content because if we don't, players are just going to start petering out. Now, we do implement things that are kind of repeatable things, like daily quest type systems.
Perfect.
And along that crafting stuff really helps solve a lot of those problems. One of our most fully fleshed out professions is cooking. So you can go fishing, catch a fish, put it in your pan,
Buffing, game
you're
fish
cooking it open the open fire, and then you can eat that for a buff to go kill the dungeon boss.
Perfect.
So it's full circle. And a lot of our daily quests are stuff like that. Our recipes are very dynamically discoverable. You can discover them yourself by combining random things, but also we have little recipes posted around the world on little papers. Like there's a Toka is kind of our mascot little character, and we have a Toka bell where there's a little Toka that sells tacos.
Oh,
It might be out of
Mystery.
questionably.
I've been playing, well, over the years, been playing like Palia and it's like, Stardew Valley, like all these different cozy games. And like, it's weird because I like MMOs, but at the same time, I'm one of those people where I'm like, I'm content playing by myself sometimes.
Yeah.
And so the idea that you would craft like I was mentioning, housing or like have a mount that you can like take care of, like little things that it's like, I'm gonna go like recharge my social battery online, like do a couple cozy things and then go and like fight with friends and whatnot.
Yeah, we think about that kind of stuff a lot. And we've actually, I won't promise any features because there's a lot of internal discussions, and we really have these discussions with our community in Discord very often where we're just kind of shooting the shit quite a lot. But we've talked about ways that, like, what if you could just pet your wolf that you summoned? And then
It's a very important feature.
and feeding it gives it a buff.
Yeah.
The social aspect of VR is very much the same as the social aspect in a lot of MMOs, which is our cosmetics emporium is a really big deal for us because you've got all the Final Fantasy players that love to get their like UFO mount, and dress up in maid outfits, all kinds of crazy stuff. And
I would say like something that we've definitely learned within the last year or so is how to nurture a social environment more instead of just trying to make the MMO experience. It's like, no, this is a social environment. I guess we're getting cringy at like, well, everybody's making like a universe, like the VR thing. And so we're just like, well, we don't want to do that, but it is a social game.
Yeah, exactly.
And like people want to hang out with their friends, so we need to make it fun for them. We want to make it fun for the individual player. We need to make it immersive and an enjoyable experience.
But yeah, it was just so cool to actually get to try out a VR MMO, and the fact that they were even demoing it live there at the convention is just awesome. And honestly, the team was so nice. The game was really pretty and fun. It was really cool to talk with them. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. I had a great time, and again, genuinely, to each of these studios, keep up the great work. Thank you so much. You're an inspiration to people like me who want to get an actual game published at some point, and it's inspiring to see such amazing and excited teams building out VR games, because that's all I want. I just want more VR stuff. So it's super cool. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope that this was relaxing, fun. I hope you got inspired. Let me know down in the comments which one of these games you liked the most, or which one inspired you or got you excited to put on your VR headset. Because, man, this entire conference had me, like, ready to get home and start playing stuff again. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And there will be more content from AWE coming. I just wanted to get this one done first, and because it was important to me to showcase all of these hardworking studios. Yeah, I'll talk to you next time. Hopefully not too long. I'm gonna get right to making the next video after this one, so hopefully soon. All right, I'll talk to you next time, everybody. Bye for now.